God promises to supply everything we need in the stress that we go through in all of these things. In fact, he says he gives it generously. He gives it without finding fault. He will give you the wisdom, the way to apply the knowledge of what you know. And we looked at that. And this is the constant message of James as we talk about faith in action. How do we walk the walk, not just talk the talk? James starts the chapter by saying there should be no discrimination in the church. There's no place for that in the community of God's people. And he uses an illustration between the rich and the poor. And James is declaring a message that unity and inclusiveness are essential to living out our faith in Jesus. Inclusivity, it's essential. Now you have to remember that this is a time in the first century of the Roman world where there's a large amount of discrimination that is held as that's just the way life is, thank you very much. And it's between whether you're Roman or not. You could be some sort of barbarian or even a Jew in this sort of instance they're talking about. It might be that you're free or that you're a slave. It might be that you're rich or that you are poor. It might be that you're a man or that you're a woman. And the unity and the openness of the early church and this idea to be inclusive and do not discriminate on any of these boundaries is just like totally shocking. This is such a counter-cultural message to the society, to the culture in which James is writing to. And the unity and the openness that he's asking for is that James really wants us to be very clear that we should always show mercy to others, refraining from partiality. He says, mercy always triumphs over judgment. And you know, one of the things about James is when he's writing, he's constantly kind of referring back to the lessons that Jesus teaches about in the Sermon on the Mount. And it's there in Matthew chapter 7 where we read that Jesus says, for in some way you judge others, you will be judged, and the measure you used, it will be measured to you. In other words, don't be hard on people. Be merciful. I'm a merciful God who loves you, who cares for you. I'm quick to forgive. How about you? I'll treat you a little bit like you treat other people. And the mercy we show will be extended to us again on the day of judgment. And we're told mercy triumphs over judgment, so be merciful. Don't show partiality. Come together in this whole sense of inclusiveness. And that's the way he starts it. And often James is referring to these little snippets, these things before he gets into the real deal he wants to talk about. But he uses it like an illustration. He can say, I see these things are going on in the church. Don't let it be like this. And this is the reason it shouldn't be like this.